Hello and welcome to another Tribal Wars video. This week it's Modern Tribal Wars and I am playing with ninjas. So it's a sort of classic obvious ninja deck using Ornithopter, Changeling Outcast and Fairy Seer. It's cheap evasive creatures to enable ninjutsu. So Ingenious Infiltrator, draws lots of cards, Miss Syndicate Naga, creates lots of Miss Syndicate Nagas, Fallen Shinobi, steals the opponent's cards, and Higear searches for more ninjas, plus his Azure Smoke Shaper, just as gives things indestructible. Then we've got some removal stuff to try and keep the board clear so the ninjas can keep getting in. Fatal Push is the obvious one, Witch's Vengeance for clearing multiple small creatures, and the things I'm experimenting with for this event are Slaughter Pact, so 0 mana to destroy a non-block creature, pay 3 at the beginning of the next upkeep, so the idea being pay nothing to clear out a blocker, and then you can you have the mana free to ninjutsu something in on that turn. And then Drown the Lock's just a very, very good card, provided that enough things go to the opponent's graveyard. So we'll see how that works out. Alright, let's get to it. This week the games will be post-commentary done over replays, because the day of the tournament I had a headache and didn't want to bother recording. Or if you prefer a less charitable interpretation, I didn't want to bother recording and use the fact that I had a headache to justify it. So anyway, I'm on the draw versus Gringo P. This is not a very good hand. Skull Snatcher can function as a ninjutsu enabler. It's a pretty bad one. And Drowning the Lock is obviously not the kind of removal you want at the start of the game. It does have an Ingenious Infiltrator, which is the sort of ninja you do want. I cannot remember whether I kept it or not. I think I probably did. Got both colours up. It's got good, reasonable mana, and it's functional even if it's not great. So yeah, I did keep it. Slaughter Pact. Well, not going to be running that out straight away, but it could be useful for getting the Ingenious Infiltrator to connect. So what's this? These both snow covered. Yeah, just different versions of Snow Covered Mountain. And a Witch's Vengeance would help get through small creatures, but it's definitely not looking like this is I'm facing a deck with many small creatures if there was nothing on turn 1 and turn 2. Nothing on turn 3 either. So this is Miss Syndicate Naga I'm using here. I think it was basically just to use all my mana. And I mean, hitting with an Ingenious Infiltrator is good, but against an empty board, getting Miss Syndicate Naga going that ends the game pretty quickly. But there's an Omen of the Forge. When it enters battle, it deals 2 damage to any target, which would have been a good reason if I'd known about this to play Ingenious Infiltrator, but Omen of the Forge is not the most common card. Lux Cannon. Put a charge counter on it and remove 3 charge counters to destroy a permanent. This is turning into a pretty bad situation for me. But and we found out it's Yetis that I'm facing. So I packed that to try and get the infiltrator in. I think here I make a pretty, if I remember correctly, I make a pretty big mistake. Gringo lightning bolts the infiltrator, and I just let it happen, which was a mistake because part of the reason Skull Snatcher is even in the deck is because it costs 1 to ninjutsu, so I could have ninjutsu it again, put Skull Snatcher back in, save my infiltrator, and add a creature in play. So I just replay the Skull Snatcher. Completion Yeti. Deals damage equal to its power to target creature. Creature does damage equal to its power to Completion Yeti. So now I'm in pretty rough shape that basically have to spend this turn most of the turn just paying for the slaughter packs. The Lux Cannon's about to start doing its thing, and the Completion Yeti can kill my creatures as well. I'll just play a measly Skull Snatcher, jarring the lock, nowhere close to getting the Carpus and Yeti with it. I bring Yeti, just a 4/4 for 5 basically. I think I attack in with the intention of Witch's Vengeancing both the Yetis, because my creatures are going to die to the Carpus and Yeti in the long run anyway. And it does put some more stuff in the graveyard for drowning the lock. Talking about Watery Grave, the Lux Cannon. Wild Swing. Choose 3 target 9 enchantment permanents, destroy one of them at random. Just targeted Watery Grave, go to Grave and Island, took out the island. Not the biggest concern, because I'm drawing plenty of lands, but the larger concern is that I have nothing going on, basically. Summit Prowler. Would it have been correct to drown the Summit Prowler? I mean, the only reason is just that maybe I don't want to offer the trade for the Smoke Shaper just because I want a creature in play to make it easier to get a ninjutsu hit in. But Gringo decides not to trade off anyway. Another Summit Prowler, so no, I can't really attack this. I need to block with the Smoke Shaper, except the Lux Cannon powers up to 3, takes out the Smoke Shaper. Pretty much have to kill one of these Summit Prowlers with a drown now. Yeah, just more lands. Forge, Scry, 2 to the top. Just another aim of the Forge to kill me. Oh, well, just passed through a bunch there, but yeah, this is a pretty reasonable hand. Got Change the Outcast turn 1 into turn 2, hit with the Infiltrator. I mean, maybe hit with the Infiltrator if it doesn't get bolted. Should help me get to the more land drops to get to the really big powerful stuff. Just trying to think if there's a... Would it be reasonable not to ninjutsu in the infiltrator? Just in case of a lightning bolt. I think it would probably be too much of a tempo loss not to, given that if I can't get the infiltrator to hit anyway, I'm going to be probably pretty stuck on lands. But I do get lucky and there is no lightning bolt, so it's very good for me. Just a cold steel heart, so this is the ideal situation with an ingenious infiltrator going unanswered. I do finally find a land, although not a land that can really do very much for me yet. Let's play a couple of outcasts, because they are ninjas, so I want them instead of the Fairy Seer. Might be reasonable just to play the Fairy Seer first, just to scry for a land. Find one anyway. And play the Fairy Seer. Scry for another land. Let's run out the Whisper Silk Cloak. Yeah, and Omen takes one out the outcasts. Fortunately, it can't kill the infiltrator. I think I'll probably just Shinobi. What do I hit? Oh. It haphazard bombardment. Choose 4 non-enchantment permanents you don't control and put an aim counter on each of them. You have your end step if 2 or more permanents you don't control have an aim counter and destroy one of those at random. So yeah, not super surprisingly, Gringo concedes at that point where I'm going to be able to start very kind of mana screwed. Turn 5 only 3 mana sources, and I can start blowing up his mana sources. Yeah, again this is reasonable hand with basically these 4 cards on the left. Changing Outcast into Ingenious Infiltrator is a pretty good start. Another Outcast. Yep, and Infiltrator survives again, which is good news for me. Just get around a pair of outcasts. This is just a really good start for me. Flashing another infiltrator and it's just going going wild with the card draw. Yeah, having to discard to hand size. Shinobi again. I get 6 draws and plus 2 draws from Gringo. So yeah, just a couple of games of unanswered turn 2 Infiltrator and Gringo getting a little bit mana screwed both times. I was kind of lucky that he only had Omens of the Forge instead of running Lightning Bolts to take out the Infiltrators. Right, this is round 2 versus Naga Junior. I'm on the play. And this is a one-lander. I think it must have mulligan this. I mean, it's got Changeling Outcast, which is obviously great, but it's got no payoff for it, so even if I did draw lands, the hand's not that great. Witch's Vengeance is very matchup dependent, and Drowning the Lock's not super great in the early stages of the game, so mulligan. This is I think I keep this, which is obviously there's going to be some fail rate to this kind of hand where it might be pretty good if I draw a Ingenious Infiltrator or something on turn 2, but going down to 5 obviously has a pretty big fail rate as well, so I think I'd keep this, put one of the lands back. And here I get kind of lucky, or possibly Naga gets very unlucky that he's playing a Arbor Elf land enchantment deck, and I have a pair of Field of Ruins in hand. So I think by far the most important thing this turn, I mean there's quite a lot I could do on this turn. I could Ornithopter in the Mist Syndicate Naga, get that going, but the risk of letting Naga untap with, so that would be six mana, actually 7 mana for creatures is pretty huge, so I'm just going to field. Naga was not thrilled about. And then there's the question of, do I want to Slaughter Pact the Arbor Elf? I think I decide not to, because he's got this lets him have a maximum of 4 mana next turn, which if he's going for the Overgrowth Arbor Elf synergy, he's probably trying to get to quite a bit more than 4. Certainly would not be unreasonable to Slaughter Pact the Arbor Elf, really sitting back, but it does mean I'm doing nothing next turn basically. So I'm setting it, I'll be setting myself back by a turn probably, but there is a good chance that killing Arbor Elf will set Naga back by more than 1 turn, which will probably make it worth it. But then if I do get the Mist Syndicate Naga going, and I can kill whatever big creature he plays with the Slaughter Pact, then I can probably get multiple hits out of Mist Syndicate Nagas, which would be pretty good. So I think I choose not to. There's another Arbor Elf. Another Arbor Elf, so on the one hand, killing Arbor Elf wouldn't do that much, but on the other hand, I'm probably not going to get quite as many hits out of Mist Syndicate Naga as I wanted. Yeah, I made a bit of a mistake there. I should have played the Field of Ruin first and tap that so I could play the Changeling Outcast. And now I have managed to get quite a lot of mana, because you can activate at least one of the Garant Brigs. But it does mean tapping his Arbor Elf, so if it's something that dies to Slaughter Pact, then I can get in with the Nagas. the Mist Syndicate Naga, it's not the Nagarjuna. So yeah, Plucker Worm, pretty good. 7 life and draw a card when it dies, but... Ooh, and an Ingenious Infiltrator, that's pretty nice as well. Naga decides not to block at all. So I get lots of draws, lots of Mist Syndicate Nagas. I think I'm... Yeah, if there's only one Castle Garenbrig, I probably would have... Field of Ruined it there. But it's pretty hard to activate 2 Castle Garenbrig, so there's not much value in doing it. I guess it would have been pretty reasonable to kill a Twilight Mire, just to get him off black. No, he might have just been able to get a swamp off it, but if he's playing Twilight Mire, he probably wants multiple black out of it. Obviously, in the end, it wouldn't have mattered because he had another one, but... And, I mean, the reason... I'm not likely to get another enchantment with a Field of Ruin, because he's just going to put it on the basic lands, obviously. Another Plucker Worm. But now I do have enough Mist Syndicate Nagas that a single big creature is going to have a hard time stopping me. Okay, I do use the Field of Ruin here, take out one of the castles. It's not super relevant, but it does use up my mana, and I guess if I... well, no, I suppose one of the reason it's good is because it puts another card in Naga's graveyard for drowning a lot of purposes, so it's pretty reasonable to do that there, and then kill one of the Arbor Elves. Got to pay 3 or lose the game. Drawing another Mist Syndicate Naga here is... Okay, so I didn't ninjutsu anything in there. I think my thinking was... It's pretty much looking like my current board state can just win the game by itself, so leaning like Drowning the Lock would be reasonable. And I can... Yeah, I can Fatal Push the Arbor Elf, that'll put Naga's graveyard up to 7. Which is probably going to be able to drown. I mean, I can counter most of the things that you can do. So I want to be able to, if there's another Plucker Worm, it's not super likely, but something similar to that, I want to be able to counter it instead of killing it, so it doesn't get a 7 life, I'll just draw a card. And it is in fact another Plucker Worm. To counter that, and I can just attack with everything because I can ninjutsu in Mist Syndicate Naga from my hand, taking the Ornithopter, and that'll be 15. So he has to block one of the Nagas not to be dead. So I got to draw another crap ton of cards and make a crap ton of Nagas. Play out a couple of Ornithopters. I even get to hold up another Drowning the Lock in case he plays the 4th Plucker Worm. Crippling Fear, that would also be not great for me, but Drowning the Lock gets it as well. So another hand where I've got an Enabler and an Ingenious Infiltrator, so that's pretty reasonable. No removal and no Field of Ruin though, it does mean that and I'm on the draw, means I do have the potential to be in a bad situation by the time I actually get to start doing stuff. If Naga has a good ramp opening, which it looks like he does. Well, I do draw a removal, but not the one I need right now. So yeah, and it does seem like Naga has a pretty good ramp opening. I do go for the Ingenious Infiltrator, which might have been wrong here. Because if I kill that Arbor Elf with Drown Lock, which I can do because of the Windswept Heath, that puts Naga down from untapping with 7 or 8 mana down to untapping with 4 or 5 mana. I mean, obviously it's good to get the Infiltrator in as soon as possible, but I think that was probably a mistake there. I think the risk of Naga untapping with 7 mana to place, for example, a Pelakka Worm, is going to be a big problem, because now I can't even get in with the Ingenious Infiltrator. That might have also seemed like it was probably a mistake as well. That turn should have attacked the Ornithopter to get Skull Snatcher in, just to get a draw from Infiltrator. So I bottom both of those. And then I Fatal Push the Arbor Elf. Possibly a bit too late. Probably a bit too late. Massacre Worm comes in and massacres me. Yeah. So yeah, maybe, I mean, I think maybe it would not have mattered really, ultimately, because of the Massacre Worm could wreck me. But yeah, I do think I ended up playing that game pretty badly. Okay, so 1 mana hand, obviously not going to do it. If this was like a Watery Grave, then maybe it'd be okay. So just grind to a second land and potentially get into Ingenious Infiltrator out there quickly, but obviously Swamp's not going to do it by itself. So this is a more reasonable hand. I think I'll probably put the Witch's Vengeance back. It can be good against an Arbor Elf, like a strong Arbor Elf draw, but it can also just be worthless. Could also just put back either Ornithopter or Changeling Outcast. Probably not super necessary to have both enablers, but keeping both of them, I can go turn 1, play both of them, turn 2, bounce the Ornithopter, swap the Ornithopter in for the Ingenious Infiltrator, gonna get 2 draws, replay the Ornithopter, turn 3, so I think probably I'll put back the Witch's Vengeance. Yeah. And I mean, I say it's good against, I mean it's only really good against a multiple Arbor Elf draw, like a turn 1 Arbor Elf, turn 2 Arbor Elf. So if I'm only killing 1 Arbor Elf, it's not that great, and if he's playing turn 1 Arbor Elf, turn 2, play a bunch of enchantments, and it's possible that killing the Arbor Elf for 3 mana won't even be good enough. Yeah, anyway, Naga mulligan down to 4 though. pretty big deal. So I just run out my 2 enablers. Utopia Sprawl, so I'm pretty glad I did not keep the Witch's Vengeance. Just thinking maybe it would have been better to play Flooded Strand pre-combat so I can play the Mist Syndicate Naga against an opponent who's mulligan down to 4. Closing the game is probably better than drawing more cards. Okay, I went for the Skull Snatcher. I think maybe I did intend to play the Mist Syndicate Naga, but I just passed through my pre-combat main too quickly. Yeah, I think my reasoning was to do with not wanting to run too much into Crippling Fear actually. Yeah, so I think I don't play out all my enablers again. Play Fairy Seer, bottom both of the lands. Play one Ornithopter, but not the other, not the Changeling Outcast. So I want to have something in reserve in case of a Crippling Fear. And there was in fact a Crippling Fear. Changeling Outcast does survive that though, which means that playing out the second Changeling Outcast was a mistake. I didn't think about that exactly. Genius Infiltrator. This does let me play both of the Changeling Outcasts rather than playing the Mist Syndicate Naga. Fortunate that Naga Junior only has a bunch of mana but nothing to really pay it off. Why did I not attack with Ingenious Infiltrator? Because it's a 2/3 and these are only 1/1s. I don't know, I think that might have just been a mistake or a misclick or something. Anyway, Mist Syndicate comes in. I get a bunch of draws. Nothing super relevant though. Fairy Seer. I think I should bottom Skull Snatcher and probably keep Ingenious Infiltrator. There's another Crippling Fear. Then having 2 Ingenious Infiltrators to rebuild would be good. Well, it's not clear what happened there. One on the bottom, one on the top, so yeah, I think that's what I did. But then Naga just gets nothing. I think if I recall correctly, he showed me his hand had a Massacre Worm. Well, that's 3 black and he only had access to 2. This was on green. Let me just double check, how does Massacre Worm actually work? So yeah, 3 black. Creatures your opponent's control get -2. When they die, the player loses 2 life. So it would kill 5 of my creatures and put me down to 4. And then I'd be forced to start chomping the Massacre Worm. And it would do a net interest of 2 damage each time it killed any of my creatures. So yeah, if you'd got the Massacre Worm out, it probably would have killed me. But he didn't, so hooray. Now we're on to round 3. I'm on the draw versus Yokai. I think this is probably a mull. No Enabler. 2 Witch's Vengeance, which could be really good or it could be completely worthless depending on the what I'm facing. And yeah, with a hard time with only 2 mana, 2 lands, I'm gonna have a hard time getting things going. So I think I'll probably mull this. Indeed, I do. So now I've got a Fairy Seer into an Infiltrator. So I'll keep this. I'm just trying to think, what did I probably put back? I think I probably put back Whisper Silk Cloak. It's very mana intensive. I want to keep the Azra Smoke Shaper just because I can go. Just because it's a 2 mana ninjutsu thing to. If I don't hit on land off the Ingenious Infiltrator, it can be the second ninja I get out just on this. And Fallen Shinobi is just so powerful. So I think I'll probably put back the cloak. Yeah. Yokai mulligan to 5. Starts out with a Serra Ascendant. I think I'll probably put both of those on the bottom. Phase of the Push might be pretty good against the Serra Ascendant deck, but I just need more land. No, I kept one of them. I mean, I guess it's reasonable. I don't need land on the next turn. Pair of Speaker of the Heavens. Just Vigilance Lifelink, create a 4/4 angel creature token with flying if you have 27 or more life. Put the Infiltrator into play. And I do hit a land. And that is Spectral Possession. Just going to make it hard for me to keep getting attacks in. Okay, I don't know what that was. Just passed through it too quickly, but I put both on the bottom. Play another Fairy Seer. I've got to assume the Field of Ruin went to the bottom. Not very good against the mono white deck. Changing the Outcast would be reasonable. Just to be able to get hits through. No, but they both went to the bottom. I think I was more interested in trying to find a Witch's Vengeance, something like that. Not sure that was right though. Just play the Smoke Shaper here. Give the Ingenious Infiltrator indestructible and I can attack with it. Probably just eat a Spirit Token, but that's not the worst. And then Ajani, Strength of Pride, comes in to ruin my day. I think it. Pretty sure Yokai just zeroes it, kills my entire board, and Oh no, sorry. Yeah, gain life equals to the number of creatures you control plus the number of planeswalkers. Gets them up to 27. Start activating the Speaker of the Heavens. And things start very much spiraling out of control for me. I'm able to kill the 2 speakers, but I'm still left facing a planeswalker, a 6/6 flyer with lifelink, and 4 tokens. Yeah, I play out Higur just because this will let me get things through, but I'm running it out into the Ajani 0. I think probably my board without it is too anemic. Soul Warden. Just jump a couple of things so as not to die, and then a Johnny wipes my board. And there's no coming back from that. So this is not a great hand. It's more or less functional, but it's so slow that turn 2 Skull Snatcher and then maybe turn 4 Higur is not very good. Apparently I did keep it though. I think I regret keeping this hand because it's really no guarantee that the Skull Snatcher will even be able to attack in to facilitate the ninjutsu. So slaughter the Pride Mage. Don't want that getting out of control. Does let me attack in. Maybe get the Ingenious Infiltrator out. Okay, so things do work out reasonably for me. Although, English Ace, it does get pathed. But that does mean at least I can replay the Skull Snatcher next turn, even through the Slaughter Pack payment. And Yokai's a bit stuck on lands. Yeah, I decided to trade off the Skull Snatcher with the Ceres Ascendant just because I think with double Soul Sister in play, ninjutsuing is going to get this thing up to 6/6 pretty quickly, and I'm going to have a hard time getting through that. Plus I have enough mana to just play things out. Then Spectral Procession comes in to stop me from being able to attack effectively. Oh yeah, I do attack just because with the Fatal Push I can now, if he blocks with intending to trade, which is not super likely, but if he puts 4 things in front of it I can kill one of them and get rid of most of his board. Run out Higur so that maybe I can let my Shinobi get through next turn. But then Ajani comes down to to wreck my board again. Just -0 0 immediately. Take out my big creatures. Another Ajani. Starts making Pride Mates. Which I do kill. This is a second Ajani. I kind of expect something just to get chumped, but if it didn't, I could Azra Smoke Reaper and kill the Ajani. Play the Outcast. Potentially I can kill the Ajani next turn with the Smoke Reaper and the Outcast. Then Righteous Valkyrie. Whenever another Angel or Cleric enters the battle and you control, you gain life equal to that creature's toughness. As long as you have at least 7 more life than your starting total. Yes. Everything gets +2/+2. So definitely have to kill that Valkyrie. Don't want to take 9 down to 4. And then that prompts Johnny's just trade with my board. Another Righteous Valkyrie, so now I'm getting a Pride Mate. Getting attack for 3 in the air. Can't even attack my Fallen Shinobi because it's smaller than the Pride Mate. Yeah, I just attacked anyway because I'm dead in the air to the 2 flyers regardless. So my only hope was that for Yokai for some reason not to block, and then I hit something incredible off the top of his library, but obviously did not happen.